police, and pensions, trust me, public sector pensions are a very big problem here. And I said to the editor of Forbes, who was a brilliant man, I said, well, they can't cut that, Jim. And he said, what do you mean they can't cut? Of course you can cut. If you don't have the money, you cut. And that's what really is going to happen in California as we correct. So the public sector is going to get cut. But the benefits of all of the research, the institutes, along with the universities, you have research at institutes. In San Diego, you have the Scripps Institute, the Salk Institute, the Burnham Institute. There's something called the Burnham Institute in La Jolla. It gets more money, more grants. It's the leading recipient of grants from the National Institutes of Health. And the National Institutes of Health this year will make $30 billion in grants to companies doing research and universities and institutes doing research in bioscience and biomedical. And in fact, I think there's an extra $10 billion in the stimulus program for that kind of research. And what you have is an ongoing development of new treatments, new products. We are on the verge. 10 years ago, they decoded the genome. Anyhow, all of us here have genes, and they have decoded the overall thing about the genes of the all of humanity and animals and plants and everything else. And now they're getting around to finding out which gene is yours and what medicine they should give you. That's basically the story. It's a very complex story, and it'll happen over our lifetime. But to give you an idea of these institutes, there's one we have here in Los Angeles County. We have an institute called Eli Broad. You know Eli Broad, everybody who said, oh, we need a pro football team, we need to save the Dodgers. Where's Eli Broad? Eli Broad is the money, right? Well, Eli Broad actually is the money. There's a bioscience institute at Caltech, California Institute of Technology. It's funded by Eli and Edith Broad, his wife. In Massachusetts, there is the Eli and Edith Broad Institute. It's funded to the tune of $600 million by Eli and Edith Broad. And I just read that they have made a new operation. It recently started a $65 million partnership with the Carlos Slim Institute in Mexico. Carlos Slim, if you don't know, is the richest man in Mexico. One reason he's the richest man in Mexico, which is very much a government-controlled country or whatever it is, Carlos Slim has the monopoly on the telephone system. Not only the online, the traditional telephone system, but also the digital telephone system, the cell phone system. If you control the whole telephone system anywhere, especially in a country of 106 million, you got a few dollars. So 65 million cancer research with the Broad Institute. What's the point? The point, so we can have time for questions. Our region remains full of ideas and discovery. And that's the effort that we must keep up. And that's why people come here and invest here. One man in San Diego that I saw the other day, he's a major, he's starting a fund, yet another venture capital fund. And venture capital is down just because all of the other components of capital are down. From the Dow, from the lost decade, the endowments of the universities, it's all down, and that means venture capital is down. But he is starting a $200 million fund, a venture capital fund that will invest in biotechnology. And I said, he's had about 4 funds before. It's Ivor Royston of Forward Ventures. And he said, but this one, Jim, is going to be international. Most of my investors are global. I said, oh, really, global? Where from? Well, he said, most of them are in China. He's having he does partnerships with a company named Wuxi Pharmaceutical. Wuxi, W-U-X-I. I know you all speak Chinese, and the X is pronounced S-H. And it's on the New York Stock Exchange, WX. It does contract research in Shanghai and in China for experiments in the United States for pharmaceutical companies, and it's going to fund part of the $200 million fund. So that's all I'm saying. We have to keep the ideas going, we have to keep the stuff going, but we are increasingly part of an enormous economic colossus called the Pacific Rim, and we're the eastern, not the western edge of it. I'll take questions, but I'll leave a better questions for these gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Flanagan. We appreciate that. Can we find, where did Mark go? Well, there he is. All right. You want to take a few questions? Sure. All right. So we're going to take 10 or 15 minutes and ask some questions of these gentlemen. Does anybody have one? I have a couple. If okay, Mike Rotolo, why don't you fire up?
Yeah, Mr. Stein, we hear a lot about the jobs coming back, but a lot of these jobs people aren't earning as much. People are taking pay cuts, reduced time. So where everything comes back, what do you see? And I think that's going to be a big factor in recovery and consumer spending and everything else.
At the outset it will, yes. But ultimately over time, we'll absorb a lot of the idle labor force and you'll see more productive jobs. I mean, only the productive type of jobs are going to be able to stay in Southern California anyway. Just as Jim talked about, it's going to be your high-skilled, high productive stuff. So this will occur over time, but as you saw, we lost, our employment's at the same place it was 10 years ago, and yet in the country we have 34 million more people. So, and high school graduates and college graduates right now, this is sort of the misnomer of the unemployment rate. It tends to be exaggerated upward, more so in this cycle than other cycles, because we have more entry-level people entering the labor force right now. The unemployment rate is filled with people who have never worked, ever. So it really isn't a real good reflection of the misery that normal unemployment rates would tend to show when they are elevated. But the point of that is that it's going to take a while to get those people to work. So I wouldn't think that we're going to be in a similar situation like we were in the mid part of last decade until the mid part of this decade, 2014, 2015, before you start to see more of the kind of economy that you're talking about right now. So yeah, it's going to take a while to absorb that. So there's not going to be a lot of wage pressures. You're going to see profits among firms. Stock market should go higher. I mean, there'll be a lot of opportunities. Recessions bring opportunities. Take advantage of the ones that are prevailing now.
Jim, would you like to add something?
I just want to add what you should always think about in creation of jobs, and even the highest paying jobs, is what is happening with technology. I stress too much the bio. We are the center of the creation of nanotechnology. Nanotechnology, smallest thing of small things. It will create new opportunities in manufacturing. The California Nanosystems Institute at UCLA. I was visiting a company down in Orange County where they work with nanomaterials. There's another one called composite materials. This is a coming thing. Also, three-dimensional. Now, we understand Avatar is a big hit movie. Everybody in the film or the entertainment business is planning on the future of three-dimensional television shows, films, whatever, that kind of thing. And who makes the technology of the three-dimensional? Well, the Koreans are ahead in that, and I attended some conference down in the Marriott downtown where a Korean delegation was there saying, we have the 3D technology and we're looking for partnerships with Electronic Arts, which is a games company here in the South Bay, and so forth and so on. The only point is the jobs will be created as the technology moves in and moves on.
Kyle, do you want to add anything?
No, I mean, I think the wage pressure and supply and demand, in any company, when there's 4 people that are applying for the job, there's four good choices. The employer can pay less and has the